place where I need to use the elevator key, and also refills my health and changes me back to normal will form. The normal will form part doesn't really matter for this part, but it will later. And getting the health refill just kind of frees me up to be more aggressive in the first half of the diamond mine. Because I don't have to try to conserve health for the second half.
You got the key.
This is the most dangerous room in the whole place, just because of how many enemies there are.
And the passageways are so narrow.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm taking a lot of precautions here, but obviously I'd want to try to just run around all of these enemies instead of fighting them if I can.
And that's not even working too well.
Well, I do want to die again afterwards, so... Something I kind of appreciate too is that ordinarily when you talk to Sam here, he gives you the memory melody, but also takes the prison key and the melody of winds. But I don't actually have the melody of winds, and he actually has different dialogue depending on whether you have it or not, which kind of surprises me, given that you're not really expected to be able to skip it. But the game is programmed so that you can, and then it also lets you skip or it also skips Sam taking it.
Mm-hmm. It's also a way for the game to get rid of those inventory spaces.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reason why you don't lose it when you use it, like a lot of other key items, is that because the prison key works on other doors in there. Like, there's I think you need it in order to get to the save point right outside the prison cell, and then there's another prisoner that you can rescue and talk to, and then. If you leave the room with the switch puzzle in it, it resets. So you would need to play the melody again in order to see the clue again.
And the memory melody just disappears after you use it.
Yeah. Every other melody you get disappears. Well, except for Lola's melody, but memory melody. And a nice little Easter egg too is that. The memory melody he just played is actually the background music for Angkor Wat, which is where where Sam and the other miners are from. That region. Something I like about running this game too is that it's very fast-paced. I mean, because of how fast the text scrolls, the English version, there's only maybe roughly 5 cutscenes in the whole game that are over a minute long. This is one of them. It's also got a lot of glitches and speed tricks too. I should say time-saving glitches too. As far as the Gems Mansion and Solid Arm challenge, I guess we'll probably need to cut that off, like when I finish the boss refights in the Tower of Babel.
Yeah. So on, guys. All I need is about 200 more. Get those donations in.
So that's, let's see, probably roughly an hour and 15 minutes or so from now. Or longer if I die.
So about an hour and 15 minutes from now then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to find that rock.
Yeah, we actually don't need rocks, we just need to talk to Kara, then Lily, then Kara again. I like how each major NPC in the game has their own tone that they use for drawing out text too.
Yeah.
Along with the color too. Like Kara has pink text and a higher pitched tone than others.
Yes, Sky Garden hype.
Yeah. There's some decently cool tricks in the Sky Garden. And some pretty dangerous sections too.
Yep.
This is not one of them. All of the damage I've taken so far has been intentional to set up a death warp.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the crystal ball. Only, what, 3 more?
Yep.
4 total, yeah.
There's jump slash.
Yeah, it's the last time. That's the last time I do it. Well, actually, no. There's one more in the Sky Garden, but then I lose the ability to do it after I learn the Psycho Slide ability in Moo.
But you still have other cool tricks with the ramp still.
Oh yeah. I used to have to kill that caterpillar there in a previous route where I would have to come back with free Dan, but now since I'm going to death warp out of this section, I don't need to. Let's see if I can get the quick kill on this guy. Yep.
Nice.
Very nice.
Oh, it didn't get hit by the wood either. That was in kind of a bad position. If I open the, I mean, I probably could have made it, but if I open that chest, if I use the pause trick and then open that chest while the explosion animation of the wall is still in progress, then it soft locks the game. If you're fast enough and get to the chest before, then you're fine. And I could have made it that time, but I don't want to risk a soft block and
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Two down, two to go.
Yep. This one's pretty special, by the way. That was a very... Because what you're meant to do here is to solve a bunch of puzzles that involve like jumping to the flip side, breaking some walls, and moving statues around through telekinesis in order to clear a path across this bottom row here so that you can build momentum to run and boost up that ramp. But I can just use Will's jump attack to completely skip this section pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
This is where having that one extra health from Phrygia comes in handy, just because if I don't make it to that chest before the fire snake gets there, then I don't die. But I mean, I could have. I mean, and I also want to be low health going in there, just because.
Yeah. There's another.
Because there aren't any really high damaging enemies there to help me kill myself quickly. So I moved in a special pattern in order to spawn this fire snake here early so that I don't have to wait for it to get out of my way to get to this dark space. That early spawn being discovered is why the route has changed for the Sky Garden. Because then it makes it so that it's not slower to get Friedan here. This is really dangerous room here. Just because those caterpillars can combo you to death so easily if both of them gang up on you.
You're actually using ramp the legit ways.
Yeah. You can actually walk around this statue and open the chest from the other side, but it's pixel perfect in order to walk around it without jumping off the ledge here.
Yeah.
And if you jump off the ledge, it's several minutes to get back up there, so no thanks. Alright, that's basically it for Sky Garden. Just have to fight the boss now.
Mm-hmm. Couple swings and got bad swooping angles. Ideally should be beating that boss the third time he uses that crystal breath attack. Mm-hmm.
I was also playing it a bit safe. But despite birds being jerks, I consider that basically the easiest boss in the game, just because there's no real randomness at all. Other than when it does that four-way feather shot, what direction the feathers move. Otherwise, pretty much everything it does is either manipulatable or predictable.
And I'll play with no issue at all.
Yeah, and you can, you could kill that boss considerably faster with Friedan, but there isn't really. I mean, it
takes a while to get him.
Yeah, you would have to. I mean, you would have to backtrack out of the last area with Friedan instead of death warping, and it is slower that way by about 10-15 seconds.
What if you had 100, hit over 100 joules and you died? Wouldn't you go back with Friedan still?
You would, but you'd be in the same room that you died in.
You just go back. Then you just exit the room and you're back in the.
Well, no, because you're in the. You'd be in the room where the crystal ball is, not the. Because the deaths I've been doing here are without 100 dark gems, so I'm going back to the quadrant I'm in instead of the exact room that I was in.
Yeah.
And you spawn from where you entered from, right?
You would, yeah.
So you want to
be jumping back up from the underside.
Yeah. So you don't need to say something at all. It'd just be like a regular death.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting 100 dark gems would mean you'd have to not do it because you lose any dark gems you have when you die to without 100. So getting to 100 would be pretty time consuming too.
Mm-hmm. And the only convenient place you could die would be like a boss, I guess. If you have more than 100, not lose time.
I mean, pretty much every boss in this game has kind of a hard checkpoint right before it that works even if you don't have 100.
Dandelion. Why'd you name yourself Lily?
All right, we have a couple of new donations. First off, from Magical Quevor, we have $5. And the message is, hey there, put this $5 towards naming Lena Sweetie Belle in Chrono Cross. Shortened to whatever Railcoon wishes, and he went with Sweetie. Missed yesterday and part of today, no thanks to an exam, but now I can watch non-stop. So much hype and more donations to come. Well, thank you very much for your generosity. Next up, we have $5 from Pandyloo, who says, great marathon for a great cause. Looking forward to the Legend of Mana run. Much love from Sweden. Well, thank you very much to both of you for your generosity. Mm-hmm. And just to remind anyone who's just tuning in, all proceeds from this marathon are going to JDRF, which is the leading global organization focused on type 1 diabetes research with the goals of curing, treating, and preventing type 1 diabetes.
So another reason why in a more serious run I would use a medical herb to skip part of the fishing minigame is that having 3 medical herbs means more trips into the menu, especially during this section, in order to clear jewels out.
Yeah.
Oops. Like that.
Yeah, and there's no point grinding since when he beats the boss, he gets all the upgrades from the dungeon as well.
Yeah. That's one of the
Yeah, I mean that's what makes it possible to speedrun this game without grinding any stats at all. And the way you normally increase your stats in this game is by killing all the regular enemies in a room of a dungeon, and then that permanently boosts your HP, strength, or defense by 1. But whenever you kill a boss, the game catches you up on all of those stats. So the difficulty of this run kind of ebbs and flows depending on how recently I've fought a boss. Because I just beat Viper in the Sky Gardens, which means I'm now caught up. And then this dungeon also has a boss, the most difficult one in the game, in fact. And because this is only one dungeon between bosses, that means I'm not quite as far out behind on the stats as I am for most of the other bosses. Because most of the bosses in this game will kill me in 2 hits with the stats I have. Dirt a little bit on that one. The goal is to kill that golem before it goes back to sleep.
Okay, you could have got 3 hit, right?
Well, I didn't start charging my second dash fast enough.
Wizrobes.
Yeah, these Wizrobes can and will spawn directly on top of me. Until that guy just because it can get in my that slime, just because it can get in my way
You walk
on my
through.
way back.
All right, we have some more donations. An anonymous donor gives $10 and says, "Let's go for Solid Arm."
Ah, thank you.
Nice.
And that is awesome. Thank you so much, because we definitely want to see more of Puexel doing a bonus dungeon and bonus boss. Also, we've received some questions about what's in this bizarre box on the table. Unfortunately, we can't tell you, but what I can tell you is that with a minimum $30 single donation, you will be entered in the draw to win said box, and more importantly, what is in the box.
Ooh.
And remember, all those donations go to a great cause.
Yep. The mystery box.
So Moo is probably the longest dungeon in the game, just because of all the backtracking I have to do. I mean, I use death warps to skip a little bit of it, but not that much. Because I have to place these 2 statues to lower the water level so that I can actually explore all of it. And then after that, I need to get 2 more statues in order to open the door to the boss.
Also, you learn a Psycho Slide too, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Which is probably the most OP ability in the game.
I feel absolutely wrong doing this for Denton, but come on.
Couple.
Yes. Thank you.
So just to answer the question about the mystery box, is it a single $30 donation or 30 cumulative? It is a single $30 donation gets you into the draw to win the box.
And is this across the whole marathon, or is it just for certain games? Right across the entire marathon?
Just for marathon safety, I'm gonna kill this guy before I try to do what I call the golem skip. Because you're ordinarily supposed to get Friedan and then use his Dark Friar shot in order to hit that golem and wake it up and make it move out of your way. But if you bounce up the ring and then do some stuff that would take longer to explain than is really worthwhile.
It's kind of like iframe dash when you hit the enemy and you can't
Then
get hit by him.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a bit of, because there's a sliver of pixels at the top of the ramp that the game considers flat ground instead of part of the ramp, so
Yeah.
I can basically just arrange so that I'm standing on those pixels, and then I can hit the golem with Will's flute and then pass through it as it's waking up.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, here we get the aforementioned Psycho Slider. It does the same amount of damage as Psycho Dash, only you don't have to charge it up, you just attack while running. And
Yep.
If you position it right, you can hit twice with it, and Will is invincible while doing it. So it's really, really...
And there's some cool tricks with it too.
All right, we received a $30 donation from Nebless, who is obviously interested in the mystery box. The comment is, "Hello Puexel, good luck on your run," and this donation goes towards Gem Mansion and Solid
Oh,
Arm.
Nice.
Thank you,
Thank you
Nicholas.
very much.
Must be getting kind of close to it now.
Whiz ropes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if my health was lower, I would kill that Wizrobe before moving the bounce ring, but I'm fine.
So for an update on the Gem Mansion and Solid Arm, so far we've raised $99 out of the $250 goal.
Almost halfway there.
So yeah, get those donations in there, and you'll
Yeah.
get to see more of
Just under an
Puexo.
hour.
Probably about somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour to go until we'd have to cut it off.
Just $151. Come on, guys.
Alright, so the second room of hope is conveniently located right next to the entrance to Moo, so I saved several minutes worth of backtracking by doing a death warp there.
Uh-huh.
And the only one and only red jewel in Moo is conveniently located right next to this place too. There's some there's like some herbs I think too that are actually pretty far out of the way. So I'm quite glad that they put the red jewel right here instead of elsewhere.
Place.
They were probably testing off with the red jewels, and they didn't want to put some far. They were like, screw this, we'll put it next week. Put it real close so we can get it real easily.
So yeah, if I start my slide kind of at the right distance away, I can kick the. I can barely see that gap. I can kick the enemy into the slide while I'm still doing it, and get 2 hits, and it does a ton of damage.
Nice.
These golems are really, really easy to clip through just because they don't actually get a hurt box until they finish waking up.
I thought you were just standing there and they hit to the.
What I'm doing here is actually an invincibility glitch, where if I open the chest while in the middle of either a jump attack or slide, then I'm completely invincible until I leave the room, though. So it's not quite as useful as it sounds, but and it also doesn't really save time in this room, but it's just more for safety.
Yeah. Save.
Yeah. So we've got the vampires coming up, who are the most difficult boss in the game. Because there's 2 of them, and I have to fight them with will because getting free Dan just costs way too much time.
Mm-hmm.
Most fun boss to watch too, probably. From a viewer's perspective.
Yeah, it looks pretty. It's pretty hype if done well. I forgot something too.
306 statues.
Alright, serious time.
We have bad rotations.